Hello, I'm just hanging out here, seeing who shows up. If you are on the screen joining us live, welcome, and please enter a comment into the comment box wherever you're watching this, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, so that I know you're here. And I can take down your name so that you can be entered into a drawing for a free reading for today. So welcome. Please let me know who you are so we can get your name into the drawing. Let's see. I think I have a box here for that. I'm really excited about this today. It's been a long time since we've done a kind of a group gathering like this, and what better time than the first week of the new year of the our 2021 revolution around the I Ching mandala. So hi, Dorothy. Hi, Judy. Welcome. I know there are a few other people on the line. Can you hear me okay? I have a new microphone. So love to know if you can hear me okay. Hi, Carrie Lee. Shelly, good to see you. Hi, Cheryl. Yay, good to see you guys. Yeah. So I'm going to I didn't do little cards, but I'm going to write your names down as I see them for a drawing, for a free one-to-one session with me. Judy, Carrie Lee. Oh, great. It's very clear. Hi, Susan. Susan L. Shelly B. And Cheryl. Okay, Cheryl H. And Cynthia Davis. Hello, Cynthia. Biggest failure in manifestor history? I refuse to believe that. There are no failures. There are just happy accidents, as Bob Ross would say. If you've ever painted along with any of Bob Ross's videos, or back in the day when he was on, I guess, PBS or public television, you know that there are only happy little accidents. And some of us have a lot of trial and error in our designs. So that's very cool. We're learning stuff for everybody else so that we can preserve our so that other people don't have to go through what we go through. Natalia, good to see you. I can't even pronounce Yevgenia. I think that's how I pronounce your name, or it's something close, I hope. I don't even need to put a last name or initial. Hi, Carolyn. All right. And I'll do the rest of that catching up with names before I do the drawing. But if you're here and you haven't made yourself known in the comments box, please do, so that we can so that I can put you into the drawing. Yay. Jenny for short. Okay. I'll try to remember that if I pull your name, Jenny. Awesome. Yes, Dorothy, you are an ego manifester here. Manifestors unite. You guys were waiting to be initiated. The rest of us are waiting to be initiated. So initiate us into things. So welcome today. Happy Human Design New Year. We actually went into the Human Design New Year on Thursday I missed it actually when it happened. It was Thursday at 1949 UTC time. And it went in, the sun went into the gate 41, and here we are, traversing the first week through with the sun in the gate 41. So today, I want to share some things or talk about some things in terms of the major conditioning themes that we're going to see this year. Okay. I'm just, that's an interesting walk 5280. Good to see you, Shelley. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to take a fun look, or we're not going to hopefully go too deeply down into the rabbit hole. Hi, Kelly. We are just going to talk about some of the things that I'm just going to turn on some lights for you, I guess, so that you can have your own revelations and your own experience with your year this year, and maybe get some insight on what it is that you kind of need to look out for in terms of what's going on out there in the world that could affect you on a deep level with your own deconditioning process. And this is just an opportunity to take a look at some of those transits, to see where we are right now, and to kind of understand what the program, the matrix that we're in, the program, the human design program, what we're in here, what it's doing, and what we can glean from that, and how we can distinguish who we are from that, right? So there's a lot going on. If you have access to your human design chart, I neglected to mention this. You may want to pull it up and just kind of take a look at maybe some of your hanging gates. And what I mean by hanging gates is, let me grab a quick chart here. Any gate that's coming off of a center that's not an entire channel. So if you see on this chart, this, I think that's the 515. Yeah. The 515 channel is defined, and it defines two centers. But if you notice, the gate 10 over here is a hanging gate. And then up here on this particular chart, there's another hanging gate, which is the gate 33 on an undefined center. So if you have your human design chart handy, you may want to pull it out and just take a quick glance at where your hanging gates are, because we're going to talk about that. And also notice if your hanging gates are on defined or undefined centers, because we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. And I want to mention, because as I was putting this together, I wasn't quite sure where my intuition was leading me. But as I was putting this together, the pieces started to come into place. And I just put down in the description box on the Facebook post and the YouTube post a special that I have. So I want to make sure I mention it up front, and I'll try to remember to mention it again at the end. 21% off for the Human Design 2021 New Year for the deconditioning blueprint. And if I get enough people signed up for the online course in March, I'll do at least one live Q&A, if not maybe two. We'll just see. I think there's some places where you can give me some feedback, and we can see where you are with that. This is a year, as in all years, but here we are in this moment, interested in becoming who we truly are, in expressing our true essence from a place of empowerment. And in this point in time, in this year, we have an opportunity to really tease out who we are versus what the rest of the world is about. And that's kind of the framework that I want to work with as we sort of take a little deeper dive or a deeper look into the human design, let's say the influences that were set into place on January 21st for the Human Design New Year. Before we get started, since it seems like most of us are here, at least the ones of us that got on right at the beginning, I want to take a moment to just do a little invocation. So get comfortable where you are. An invocation is like kind of like a meditation, only we're going to be inviting in the energies that can really support us here with our focus. So I don't want to get churchy on you or anything like that, but it came to me that this is very important for our point of focus at this point in time. So just get comfortable, take a couple deep breaths. Let's settle into where we are in this moment with each other at this point in time on this perceived timeline that we have co-created together. And as we do this, let's focus on our heart centers, the home of the magnetic monopole, that energy which attracts us to life and aligns us with our trajectory. Breathe into that center. And let's invoke the spirit of Ra Uru Hu to the level that we are able to open and connect with his spirit and his wisdom. And let's also invite in the aspects of the voice from which he got his transmission of human design. Those aspects of the voice that our levels of consciousness have access to at this point in time. And let's intend for our higher minds, for us to be elevated into our higher minds so that we can see from a broader perspective, and that our higher mind perspective be filtered through us in a way that is illuminating and useful for each and every one of us. So take another deep breath and relax into this opening and this connection, your individual connection with your design and with the wisdom that is there for you, as we also invite in the wisdom and the illumination that can come from the energies that brought this wisdom onto the planet. So with that, we express gratitude and we connect with each other in the unfolding of our own illumination and the unfolding of our light into the world. And so it is. So, I think what I want to do is actually share the copy of since I missed the date, because time is sometimes elusive for me. I missed the exact date and time. I did not run the Just Now chart right at the time when we hit January 21st, 2020 or 2021. So let me see. I want to share the screen. Not that screen. Hold on. Bear with me and all of my gyrations here with technology. I want to share the screen with that chart. Not that screen. Okay. Hold on. There it is. Is that it? Yeah. Okay, so let me know if you can see that. It looks like it's a little small. How's that? That is as nearly as I can get. January 21st, 2021 at 1950, because actually when I ran it on my program, 1949 and 33 seconds came up in gate 60, which was the gate before 41. So I moved it to 1950 UTC time. Ghana is in UTC time. So this is the chart for when the sun went into the gate 41 at that turning point. So here's what we're looking at here. This chart is the chart that shows us what the themes are that we're stepping into for the new year. The 41 and the 31 or the gate 41 is actually where we start every year on the mandala, the human design mandala. And if you've seen, I should have shown you, I should have brought a picture of the human design mandala. I have that link somewhere for that explanation that I did on a video. So I'll try to remember to put it in the description so you can take a look at it if it's not already in there. But anyway, every year, trust me on this, and then go back and watch that video. Every year, the Human Design New Year starts at the I Ching Gate 41, and then we traverse around. It's not in numerical order, but we traverse around until we get to Gate 60, line 6, and then we move back into the Gate 41. So here we are. We're actually, I think, in 41 line 2 right now, but at that Gate 40, at that new year point, what we're seeing here is like the imprint of here's what's going to go down this year out there in the world. Basically, that's what this is that you're looking at. Now, the reason that I want you to take a look at your individual human design chart is because you may discover that you have some of these gates that meet with some of these hanging gates that meet with some of the hanging gates on this chart. And I'm not going to go through all of them today, but I want to specifically point out some of the ones that are in a longer term transit where you're actually going to be taking that energy in and that theme in for at least a month or two, if not longer. So when you have a hanging gate, especially when it's off of an undefined center, it actually, when it meets with another gate, let's say you had this gate 44 and it meets with this gate 26, it actually brings you into the energy where if this were another person, if this were a relationship, your relationship with the world, let's say, you're going to be amplifying this energy of the 26 in through your design, and it's going to lead you into the potentially the not self-expression of the two energy centers on each side of that gate. Okay, so this is where you're going to you're going to want to look out for the themes or the things that your mind is doing that are going to lead you into places that are not really a reflection of your true energy and your truth. And I want to remind all of you that that true reflection of you is experienced through your strategy and authority. Hi, Erica. I've got your name here. Thank you for checking in. So we're going to look first of all at what happened back on Thursday, and we're carrying this theme through for the next 4 or 5 days, I guess. Hold on. I'm using all kinds of different tools. If you're following transits, you definitely need to have this 2021 pocket ephemeris that you can get through Human Design System, I think, humandesignsystem.com. So we're going to be in 41 until the 26th. The sun's going to be in 41 until the 26th, and it'll go through all of the lines, the line 1, the line 2, Today, I think it's in the line 2. So we're going to talk about what this brought in for you. And if you have like the gate 30 with this gate 41, or if you have the gate 7, which would meet with the gate 31, that you probably felt this huge uh, surge of energy, especially with the gate 41, a huge emotional surge of energy if you're undefined emotionally, to get something started. So I'm going to go through this book. Actually, it's by Chetan Parkin, and it's called The Book of Lines, just to give you some overview and a little bit more depth into what that 41 is about. So if you think about for the sun placement, the which is where the 41 was and still is, and the earth placement, you can think of these two energies as like the most prominent energy that you're going to feel or that you're going to see out there in the world. And it can kind of be distilled down to, we talk about the sun being what, if this were in your chart, what you radiate out, and what you give out, and the earth being what you how you ground what you give out, or what grounds you so that you can give this out. When we're looking at these planetary transits, the way I interpret that, and you may have something more to add to that if you're doing your own transits and you've been following it for a long time, but how I interpret it is the earth placement, the earth placement gate is the one that shows us or can influence us into believing that if we do this, whatever this theme is, we will see what is in the sun placement, whatever the theme is in the sun placement. So for this 31 and this 41, it's as though if we do what's in gate 31, we're going to see or be able to experience what's in gate 41. So let's look at what gate 31 is. 31 is the gate of influence. It's part of the logical circuitry in the human design chart, and it is really about being able to express leadership. So if we think about that at the time that it came in 31 line 1, the gate of influence, if we it's about opening, finding the sincerity to allow yourself to be influential. You either offer ideals in simple ways or through contrived means. And if the sun is in 31, you express leadership through clear alignment and inherent aims. So if the world out there is telling us or conditioning us to think that if we now have the energy, or if we express leadership through clear alignment with our inherent aims, we will see 41, which is decrease, imagination, beginnings. It's all the way down here on the root center. We will see finding a balance between giving and receiving. Moderating is 41-1. Moderating, finding balance, the balance between giving and receiving, being either centered and clear or headstrong in our handling of how we use our energies. So I'd love to know how many of you in the past week have felt like, yeah, now I have the energy to really get something done. Now I have the energy to start. Now, if I just step up and, have this clear alignment with what my goals are, if I just step up and align myself with my goals, then I can finally get started on whatever it is that you want to get started on, that will move you forward into the next new experience. That's also what 41 is about, moving forward into the next new experience. So So let me know if I'd love to know, have you been feeling that push? Like, oh man, I have this dream. I have this thing that I really want to experience. I can feel myself birthing this new thing into the world, and I just need to get on with my goals, basically. Now, if you have 30, I have gate 30 on an undefined uh, solar plexus. So what happens with me is that I get really emotionally fired up. I'm amplifying emotional energy with this. I'd love to know if anybody here has the gate 7 and what you've been experiencing with that as well. But for me, I know when every year, every time we come to this place in the year, we come to this week in the year where there are these potentials. And let me elaborate a little bit on the 41 here even more. This is about the very, very beginning impulse to of desire for a new experience. It's about it's known in the I Ching as decrease. So it's about pushing or transcending restriction that then inherently allows you to opens you up to a new experience. But there's a lot of restriction in here, and the tendency, if you're like me with the gate 30, or maybe you just feel it in general in the air, when the 41 comes in, there's this tendency to really want to push hard. And that gate 1, when it's in the gate 1, being either centered and clear or headstrong in the handling of how you use your energies. One thing you want to ask yourself is, am I burning myself out? If am I pushing to overcome the restriction before it's time to overcome the restriction? Am I pushing so hard that I'm misaligned with my own strategy and authority, and I'm not listening to it? So there's a lot of mental belief in this time frame with this 4131, that if you just go for your goals, it's going to happen. But we know, as how did I put that in my newsletter? Human design woke people. That there's a and now I'm back. so so yeah, so Carolyn, you have the 731 channel, but unconscious, so it's elusive to you. Okay, so you already have that energy within you, so you're probably not as affected by the transit. But it's still elusive. Yeah. And Erica, your partner has a gate 30, and he felt a sense of drive and energy this past week. Yeah. So I'd love to know, Erica, what his energy type is, because for those of us who are non-sacral beings, or even if you're a generator or manifesting generator, you're still a lot of times waiting for something to respond to, or an invitation, or 28 days if you're a reflector. And all of this push and this drive is just going to peter out after a while without that energy coming to meet you. And even with you guys who are manifestors, that you a lot of times have to wait for the clarity for what it is that what action you're going to take and what you're going to initiate. Yeah. So bottom line is, we're a long way from the throat. We're a long way from the center of manifestation, and it's just the beginning of the drive. And the moral of the story, coming from someone, me, who has the gate 30 line 4, which is literally burnout, is to not burn yourself out before you actually get to realize your dream. So, splenic manifester. Yeah. So perhaps he was very much in the flow of manifesting and initiating something during this week. So, but for most of us, we're still down here in the gate 41. So that's what I wanted to point out about uh, those to the sun earth gates, and to be really conscious of how you may be taking in those energies and acting in a way that is contrary to what your true design is, and it really will throw you out of alignment. Jenny, you've got gate 31 with the undefined 7, so you're probably not as affected as well. However, if you had the gate 7 and the 31 came in, there would be perhaps this drive to take on a direction, this impetus to lead the way in a certain direction that may not be the correct direction, because maybe your strategy isn't in alignment with that. So let's talk about some of the. I made some notes here about Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus, because they're the longer running themes from this imprint that came in on January 21st, 2021. So until about, what did I say, the 26th, you're probably going to feel this 4131 theme, or you're going to see it in other people or yourself or whatever, especially if you don't have those gates defined. But what I want to talk about is the Saturn, which is going to be where 41 is going to be until February 13th. So even though we're moving out of the sun in 41 on the 26th, we're still going to have Saturn in the 41 and in various gates until February, through February 13th. So Saturn is about restriction and discipline. It's where we really have the opportunity to develop mastery if we're looking at our personal Saturn. The theme that we're working with that may at times feel restrictive, but if we really heed the discipline or develop the discipline through that theme, we get to experience the expansion of Jupiter. So Saturn, I love Saturn. People hate Saturn. A lot of people hate these energies of Saturn because they can be really harsh, but they could also be really productive. And when they're coming to you from the outside, it can feel kind of like imposed discipline, maybe, or imposed restriction. And it's something that as you live through your own design, as you're living in alignment with your own design, you don't necessarily have to be personally affected by it, if that makes sense. So again, 41, decrease, restriction, it's kind of in a sense, almost harmonious for Saturn to be in 41. So, there's still this energy come all the way through until February of this feeling, this impulse to maybe push a little bit too hard to get something started, to make your dreams a reality when the energy isn't yet there for it. So I wanted to make you aware of that. If you're feeling like, I'm feeling this impulse, but I don't feel like it's there yet for me, that's probably what you're feeling. My core, I like to kind of feel into the theme for the year at the beginning of the year. What is the year telling me? And the theme that has been coming up the first 3 weeks of the year for me has been wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Wait. And what I'm seeing is that as I wait, of course, I'm a projector. And I sit back and I wait and I wait and I wait. And if you saw my last video, there are some invitations coming through. And every time I have that impulse to start something, to do something, uh, to get something moving, like, the beginning of the year is the best time to start a new program in your business or offer a new service or whatever it is. My body keeps going, wait for it, wait for it. It's coming, wait for it. It's not here yet. And I can feel that anticipation, which is very much a part of this theme down here of expectation and anticipation of the next experience. It's building and it's building and it's building. So I want you guys to kind of feel into that for yourselves, especially those of you who are projectors and even generators, manifesting generators. If you're not really feeling any or any sacral response, it's probably because you're still waiting for it, waiting for it, waiting for it, waiting for it, and it's not time to take that action yet. So, in a certain sense, the Saturn here with 41, the gate of decrease, it could support you in that, because you will probably feel that restriction quite a bit. And if you really surrender and you don't fight against it, it could assist you in developing that inner balance and discipline that's necessary for the journey forward in this year. So that's Saturn. Let's talk about, and feel free to ask questions. And Cynthia says, then a full moon and a Mercury retrograde. Yeah. Well, full moon is coming to fruition, finishing things up, letting go, moving in. And then we're into this Mercury retrograde period where we're the energy's kind of backwards for expression sometimes. And I can't remember what the Mercury is in with the retrograde, but I think that's why I got that nudge to offer the deconditioning blueprint, because it's something I created last year, and it really feels like it's the energy of let's go back and do this again, and that's what Mercury retrograde is about a lot of times, for me at least, is to go back and review things, go back and do this again, repeat it. But it's not really about the new thing yet, doing the new thing. Yeah. So cool. Thanks for pointing that out, Cynthia. So let's see. Yeah, I want to invite you to just chat in whatever your insights are. The more that you share, the more that we all benefit. And this is part of being part of this community as well. So anything that you want to put in there. Yeah, Carolyn, you've come to really appreciate, dare I say, love the energy of Saturn in my chart and in the cosmos. My Saturn's in Aquarius has become my great ally as it sits in near my ascendant, and helps to create great boundaries and discernment and balance to all of my Scorpio. And my journey now is to lighten up on myself. But I am so grateful to have built such a strong, disciplined container for my creative energy and art. That is so awesome. Yeah, I've been watching you, and we've done some things together as well, with your creative energy, and I've been watching your drawings and your paintings and your journaling, your art journaling, and all of that. And it is a discipline. And I marvel at your discipline with that. Yeah. And Nabila, I don't know, I don't think I put you in the hat yet. And you said that I saw it back here, and I think I was talking that Charlotte is here as well. And I got Carrie Lee. Okay. And Nabila, you say, a quick recap. Oh my gosh. I'm going to invite you to go back and watch the recording. And I think what you might want to do is go back and or go and find your human design chart if you have it handy, and take a look at where your undefined gates are. So what we were talking about is the conditioning field of the gate 41 and the gate 31, the sun being coming into the 41 every year at the human design new year. We always start with 41, and that theme is about new beginnings. It's known as decrease in the human in the I Ching, and it's about really being able to transcend limitation, to get to experience the experience of a new experience. And this is a time of anticipation. It's not a time of action. So that's a quick recap, but you can kind of go back and listen to the whole thing. And the reason that I invite you to get your human design chart is if you have the gate 30 defined without the 41, or you have the 7 defined without the 31, you may be extra affected this week by these two themes. And what did I say the 31 was? It has to do with leadership. Let me read it straight from the book so I don't mess it up. Influence, the potential to provide guidance and instruction, align you and others with future prospects. It's important to relate from your own independent vision of reality. So undefined means that you have a white center. It's not colored in. Wherever you have the colored in areas in your chart is what you're really giving out to the world. It's what's consistent about you. And where you have, and this is not the transit chart. We're talking about your chart now. Where you have the white areas is where you're receptive to outside energy. You can take it in, you can amplify it, and you can mistake it for your own energy. And when you have a gate like the 30 that meets with this transit of the 41, or the 7 that's meeting with the transit of the 31, you have this, and let's say you have an undefined solar plexus, this triangle here, or undefined throat or G center, or undefined root. It's going to bring in a lot of extra energy that you're feeling very, very strongly, and it could distract you from your own design. So we're looking here at what are the conditioning forces of the year that's been, especially this week with the 41 and the 31. And then as we move, Saturn, as I just mentioned, is going to be in 41 until the 13th of February. There's this great impulse to make that dream happen when there's really no energy, no authentic energy, unless your strategy and authority are, calling you out. If you're not a manifester, calling you out in the way that you're designed to be called out, and providing you with that energy to move forward. But for most of us, we just have all this energy in us that we want to get going and we want to get started, and it's probably not time yet for the full thing. Yeah. So Natalia, you feel a strong desire to get things started with a sense of joy, but I hold back thanks to repeating the mantra, wait. Yeah, that was another thing as well. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. and that's part of this whole circuitry here, the sensing circuitry that the 41 is a part of at the very bottom and the very beginning of the way the energy runs through the chart. Okay, so Erica, I'm going to put these up on the screen. Can we do that? I'm new to the concept of transits, but I was wondering, I see several gates and channels in the chart besides the 41 Sun, Saturn, 31 Earth. Could we also, yes, we could also be affected by those gates, but I was going to go through them all, but I thought let's just go through, because I have a tendency to overwhelm people. Let's just go through some of the longer transiting ones, because they will still be palpable within your body if you're undefined there. Um, yeah. Um, and could we be affected by channel? Are you talking about 1949 or 1949? Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about after we talk about these the Neptune and the Uranus. I want to talk about those channels, because these channels, the 1949 and the 6124, is what you're really going to, it's setting up this theme that you really want to be aware of this year as you tease through what is you and what is not, and what do what's going on out there in the world, right? That you may not want to be a part of. I'm just reading Cynthia's hilarious manifester song. The rapper goes, "Move out of the way, move out of the way, move out of the way, boom." Love it, but yeah, so hated. Yeah, 1949. That's what I thought. Yeah, a little overwhelmed. Break it down each part in chunks. What are we listening for? What we are listening for. Okay. Let me break it down into a little bit of a smaller thing here. What you're really feeling through is the illusion of what you're feeling, and it may or may not affect you if you're defined. So if you're undefined, I want you to look at your chart. If you have gate 30 or you have gate 7 defined in your chart, but you don't have gate 41 and you don't have gate 31, you're probably feeling a lot of this external amplification of these two themes of the 4131. We've got to find that place of where we can be of influence so that we can get this new dream started. And it may or may not be correct for your design. And the way that you know it's correct is because it's in alignment with your strategy and your authority. So, Carrie Lee, let me know if that makes a little bit more sense to you, if that breaks it down a little bit more for you. Yeah. So if your chart is the same, Cynthia says, my chart is the same as this, but the throat is filled in. Yeah. So you're not going to have that kind of a necessarily a conditioned response unless you have the undefined root center. And then you're going to feel that amplification of the root, or the undefined emotional solar plexus. And then you're going to feel amplified emotion. Yeah, I've been in this for 10 years at least. 10, 12, I don't know. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. So let's move on, because don't get caught up in this. Human design is really a mind system. And I want you first to understand, especially those of you who are new, Cynthia, whoever else, in the Self-Discovery Wisdom School crew, I know you guys are new to this. I want you to understand that these are just things to be aware of if they turn on lights within you, so that you know to return to your strategy and your authority. If you don't know what your strategy and authority is, email me at sandy@sandyfreshy.com, and I'll send you a little cheat sheet about what that is for you. And that is where you start. The whole deconditioning process starts with understanding the purpose of your energy type, because it shows you how your aura works, how you deal with other people, and then how to align with that and release resistance through the strategy for your energy type and the way that you're designed to make decisions. So, all the rest of this is just mind candy, and please, please, please don't get overwhelmed by it. Okay. Um, yes, the root is at the very bottom. And this is the adrenaline pressure, the impulse and the adrenaline pressure. So this 41 is very much about the impulse and the adrenaline pressure to do the new thing, to have the new experience, to make your dreams come true. But again, it's known as decrease. So it's not the whole energy. It's actually the restriction of the energy. Think of like energy is water going through a hose, and you close down the hose and the water doesn't go through very easily. That's what 41 is about, because it's not fully opened up yet, because all of the energy is not available yet. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Erica thinks she's been affected by the 6124 this week. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. But let's talk quickly about what's going on in with Neptune, because Neptune is going to be in the gate 22 until May 9th. So if you have gate 12 and you don't have 22 defined, you just have the hanging gate 12. This is something to look out for, especially if you have an undefined emotional solar plexus. Let me take a drink of tea. So what you're going to feel is a lot of up and down spikes in emotion. And I can speak from experience with this one as well. And this gate 12 or the 1222 has been in and out of the transits for the past year or so. This means that if you don't have if you have an undefined, a white emotional solar plexus, it means that you are susceptible to taking in outside emotional energy and amplifying it and getting very, very confused about it, wanting to do something about it, maybe thinking that it's yours, and maybe wanting to just avoid it altogether, avoid truth altogether. So with this gate 22, if you have the 12, it can condition you in a way where you may feel very much. Well, let me talk about what Neptune is. It's the energy of illusion. It's the energy of murkiness. And if you have it in wherever your gate, where your Neptune, whatever gate your Neptune is in your chart, is something that you really do not want to go deeply into, because you're just going to be peeling the onion forever and ever and never really finding the truth. That's how that is. I will speak about the gate 19, Natalia. So the thing that you want to be aware of is that the illusion here is around. Let me read it from the book of lines so it can turn on some lights for you. The illusion is around grace. And if you're undefined in your emotional solar plexus, you've got the gate 12, you're taking in the energy of grace through this illusion of Neptune, and you're probably going to be very, very confused about what's gracious, what's not. You may feel moody. And I want to let you know that if you do feel moody and your emotional solar plexus, this center is white, it's not your emotion. You're just filtering it from the planetary energies. So you always want to go back into your calm, still place within. And even if you have the gate 12 and you are defined here and you have your own emotional ups and downs, you know that you have no truth in the moment. So this is a place where the conditioned world out there is going to be wanting to react from a place of emotionality, from emotion without finding their own, without individuals finding their own center and their own knowing within them. So let's talk about the other thing that came up about that is that all that looks gracious may not be gracious. A lot of illusion around what's gracious, what's graceful, uh, what is what's true affection. This is about affection and art and beauty and romance and all of that stuff, especially romance. Think about romance and the illusion of romance that is fueled by emotion. So it's something to be aware of, that there's this potential, especially with this, if you have the gate 12 defined, the hanging gate, of really being thrown off by emotionality into a place of illusion where all that glitters is not gold. So that's a really big one. I've been learning. I have the undefined emotional solar plexus. I have been learning for the last year and a half what it's like to be an emotional being. And you guys who have a defined emotional solar plexus, you are, I don't know how you do it. I really don't know how you do it. How you ride that wave and get clarity. It's a marvel to me. So quickly, let's talk about sudden changes with Neptune. Neptune is in 27, the gate of nourishment. Let me pull up 27 real quick. All right, maybe I have those notes right here. Yeah. Sudden changes that can lead to transformation is what Neptune is about. So Neptune's going to be in 27, the gate of nourishment, until March 1st. The gate of nourishment is about how do we feed the tribe? Literally a lot of times, if you have the gate 27, the gate of nourishment, you're really kind of a foodie. And, you're concerned a lot of times about eating and feeding people and taking care of people in that very fundamental way where they get the nourishment that they need. Now, let's say you have the gate 50, the hanging gate 50, that is moving into this 27. You may have the tendency during this time until March 1st with Neptune in this gate to overly care give, to take on responsibilities of nourishing others or nurturing others that maybe aren't your own, or to be overly concerned about drawing boundaries around how you nurture and take care of people. What we're probably going to see out there in the world with regard to sudden changes and getting to breaking points is that from now until about March 1st, we're going to see a lot of breaking points around the theme of caring for others, caregivers who are at the end of their rope, people who, and we see this already, with hospitals and all of that. So you really get my, what did I say? Did I say Neptune, Carolyn? I meant Uranus. Yeah. Uranus is in gate 27. Yeah. So if I didn't say Uranus, I meant Uranus is in gate 27. Uranus is the gate of, sudden changes that can lead to transformation. So when we get to this, as we experience this breaking point globally in the world of how we care for people, how we nourish people, having too much, having too much on us, or on, caregivers having too much on them, it has the potential to transform how we care for each other. Yeah. So, that's a really good global one to look at. And then in your own life, if you have the gate 50 that meets with this gate 27, you really want to take a look at, you want to just kind of observe, you're nurturing people, whether or not it's in alignment with your design. Are you really aligned with your own energy through your strategy and authority? And use the information, the experience that you get to sort of retune yourself to a more authentic expression if you feel that you're kind of off in that way. Okay, so we want to get to these channels here, the 6124 and the oh yeah, Dorothy, you have gate 50. Is it on a defined spleen or an undefined spleen? I know you have the undefined sacral. So there's a tendency there for you to amplify with the 50 coming in with the 27 to amplify sacral work energy, right? And maybe overwork at nurturing and nourishing others in this time. I wonder if you've been like burning yourself out with cooking meals and freezing things and prepping and homesteading. That was the image I just got for you, Dorothy. Yeah. So yeah. So, and then over on the spleen side, then there's that amplified potential for amplified worry about survival as well. So interesting. So let's go to nope. I kind of didn't think so, Dorothy, but I just had that image of you. That image from the chart, I guess. So let's go to these two channels, which is really here for your entertainment. in the way, when I looked at what was coming through, that's really what I saw, is like, there is nothing here that we have to worry about. It's all playing out on the world stage. And it's just going to be interesting to see how it unfolds throughout the year. Yeah, Erica, you're asking, when looking at the gates and channels, is it useful to also look at your partner's chart, since we probably affect each other's energy? That's a whole other absolutely, yes, absolutely. And that's a whole other meeting. It's a whole other reading in itself. When you first get your human design chart and you have your own reading, the next thing you want to do, especially if you're living close with children and a partner or whatever, especially if you're very open, and you have a lot of these hanging gates, you want to see how the people around you are affected by your energy and how you're affected by their energy. So, because this gives you a lot of information about the deconditioning process, about what you're taking in that's not yours, that you can then begin to let go of, and begin to trust that it's not yours. You don't have to hold on to it. And that's what the deconditioning blueprint is about as well, that I'm doing that 21% sale on. It's in the description. Not about partnerships, but about how you are affected through your energy centers and the energies that you take in, so that you can begin to tease out who you're not. So that's really fundamental to letting go of all of this outside stuff, like all of this stuff that's coming in, that came in at January 21st, 2021. These are all conditioning forces on our designs, where if we're plugged into the homogenized matrix out there, we may think that we've got to do something about this energy. And it's really not, a lot of times there's really not anything for us to do except to be in our own designs, in our own power, and in our own, on our own trajectory. But all of that other stuff is just illusion, and it feels real because we're taking it in and we're amplifying it, and we don't know that we're holding on to it. So hopefully these transits are showing you in a very general way how potentially that may affect you. and what it is that you can begin to observe out there that's not really necessarily a part of you. Yeah, goodly words. You have a defined 50, manifesting generator 2-5 sacral authority. Yeah, so go back and listen if you didn't hear that part about I guess you did hear that part about the gate 27. Something to really look at this year. That 27's been in and out for a long time. It's another one that I've been observing in my own human design experiment, how that affects my sacral, because I have the gate 50 and a defined spleen. So I've been observing what this 27 is about for me, and it does have a lot to do with food and nourishment and cooking or not for me. So and me the necessity for me to return to, I'm a splenic projector. I have certain channels that are my core strengths, and I can rely on those. I don't need to be cooking a whole bunch of food in an effort to nurture other people. It's not me. And that I broke that down to it's very basic there. So just to kind of be funny about it. So let's talk about these outside influences. Okay, so 6124 and 1949. So 19, who asked about the 19? Well, no matter, I'm going to talk about it anyway. Let's talk about the 1949 that defines in the human design New Year chart the root, which is the adrenaline pressure, and the emotional solar plexus, which is the emotional energy, the emotionality. So we can see out in the world that there is a lot of that the year has been kind of stamped with this theme that is bringing a lot of adrenaline, stress, and pressure, a lot of impulse to feel things and experience things in an emotional way. And it's through this theme of synthesis. The 1949 is synthesis. And it has to do with need and wanting and sensitivity in the 19, and revolution in the 49. It's a tribal energy. It's part of the tribal circuitry. Okay. Yeah, we're going into the 1949, Natalia. It's part of the tribal circuitry. So tribal circuitry is very much about we take care of our own. This is also the channel of marriage. So we are, what are the rules of the road for approaching each other so that we can form a bond of marriage, so that, so that we fit into society, and so that society thrives, or so that we fit into the tribe, the tribal structure, and the tribe thrives. So let's talk about this. I'm looking at this in Richard Rudd, the father of the gene keys, when he was in human design, wrote this book on circuitry, and it's a really nice reference book. 1949, the channel of synthesis, design of sensitivity. So if you had this channel defined, if you have it defined in your chart, your life is a constant lesson in sensitivity to balance your own needs with those around you while holding fast to your own principles. Your potential gift is to be recognized as someone who can always balance practicality and fairness. So think about this on the world stage. There's going to be a lot of focus on practicality, sensitivity. There's going to be a lot of focus on balance and fairness. And the revolutionary energy of the 49 is probably going to be very prominent in terms of Mercury, which is what we talk about, right? You're probably going to hear a lot of talk about how do we revolutionize the way that we come together, the way that we approach each other, so that everyone's needs are met and everything is balanced. You may or may not be called to be part of that revolution. It all depends on your strategy and authority. So if you're sitting, if you find yourself at times this year going, man, I need to do something, I need to go out and protest. I need to do whatever. Really check in and really feel whether or not that energy is there for you. Otherwise, you could be wasting energy or putting yourself into places where your gifts and talents are not going to be actualized and used, and are not going to be a full benefit. So, if you've ever felt that pressure, because the root is a pressure center, or if you ever feel that pressure this year, just remember that, that if you're a projector, if you haven't been invited into it, it might not be your thing. If you're a generator, a manifesting generator, and you haven't responded to it, it might not be your thing. If you're not clear, even manifestors or reflectors, if you haven't taken your time to get clear on whether or not it's something that you need to do, it might not be your thing. And manifestors, if you're not clear about what you need to initiate, it might not be your thing. So just keep that in mind and watch what unfolds out there in the world. The other thing that we're really going to witness, and this has been in and out a lot as well, is the 6124, inner truth, the seeking and the quest for the thinking and the thinking and the thinking and the thinking, the thinking. That's what 6124 is about. And if you have this channel, it's called the channel of awareness, a design of a thinker. So if you actually have this channel defined, you're designed to think. You're designed to entertain the mysteries of the universe, and you need a lot of space to be able to do that, because you're thinking about things in ways that they have never been thought about before. Out here on the world stage, let me just fill this in a little bit. So long as you are not using it to try and resolve your own life, your mind is always capable of inspiring someone else to see life in a totally new light. The world's great thinkers, if this is part of your design, these people are here to inspire others to think about life's mysteries. These are minds that constantly need to explore new intellectual areas in new ways. Such minds are capable of creating whole new ways of thinking about things, and they need a great deal of recognition in this. These are people who need and love silence. They can be the kind of people who experience sounds or voices inside their heads because they are acoustically oriented. Listening to or playing music can be an extremely soothing way for them to release their mental pressure. These are melancholic minds where inspiration comes suddenly and unexpectedly, but can never be controlled or predicted. So think about that in terms of the world and what we may be seeing out of this theme out there on the stage, right? A lot of people entertaining what's true, what's not, what's the truth. A lot of inspiring thoughts potentially. A lot of things that if you're undefined in your head and ajna, that you may actually get caught up in because you're amplifying that thought energy. Yeah, good question, Nabila. She says, what if you only have half of the channel? It kind of, you're going to have to feel it out and observe it. But here's my impression of it, or my experience of it. When you have half a channel and the whole channel runs over it, there's this potential to be a bit overwhelmed by the themes of that energy. So let's say you have the 61, and you're filtering all of this outside inspiration and thinking about it, and and you're affected by the 6124. You could be really kind of uh, swayed mentally or affected mentally by this whole uh, seeking of the truth and thinking about what's true and entertaining the mysteries of the someone else's mysteries of the universe, and it can be a bit distracting. A constant yo-yo. She says, would this be? Natalia says, would this be a constant yo-yo? Um, I'm not quite sure what you mean about that, like an up and down. Anytime you have white, where you're taking in energy through an undefined area in your chart that's white, it can feel like a constant yo-yo because that energy is not coming from you, it's coming to you from forces that you have no control over. So let's say, for instance, we get out of this gate 41 here, in, when did I say it was going out? February 13th. It's leaving Saturn. And I'm not, don't quote me on this because I haven't really taken a deep look at what else is coming through the transits. And you have this push and this desire to get something started and you act on it, right? And or maybe you're overwhelmed by the 4130. I don't even know if that's coming in, but you go and you take that step, and it's not in alignment with your strategy and authority. That energy, when it leaves, is it's going to take that theme with it, and it's going to take that push and that drive with it. So yeah, it comes and goes, absolutely. And you're like, what just happened? And especially up here, those of you who have an undefined head and ajna, it comes in, other people's thoughts and inspiration come and go, and you're right now in this energy where you may be really, really inspired. And of course, no action is ever taken. No action that turns out well is ever taken from the level of mind. It's always from your body's knowing. You try to act on that mutative inspiration that you've taken in, and you're feeling it really strongly because you're amplifying, whatever is being radiated out here. And as soon as those transits go, or those people go, or whoever's bringing you that energy, that inspiration is gone. So that's why you can't trust it. And that's why you don't want to take action from those places. Yeah. 24 in your design. Let me put this up here. 24 in your design Earth. So it's your evolution. Yeah. Evolution in the gene keys. That's what that is. Gets jacked when the 61 is pinged. So must be super careful to stop. And as Rudd says, Richard Rudd, father of the gene keys, rest in the gap, or else the mental anxiety is brutal. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah. Rest in the gap. Nice. Thank you. So I hope I haven't overwhelmed you guys that are new to all of this. I really want, if you're here going, oh my gosh, what's all this stuff about? How do I figure it out? Let's take a deep breath. Because this is just understanding the game, right? And you don't need to know everything to understand the game. You only need to know how your mind is affected and how your body feels, right? If you go back to my last video, what's my body doing, or what's my mind doing? How does my body feel? Trust the body. And your strategy, your authority will clue you in to how your energy works, how you feel, your yeses and your nos, and the energy for taking action as it comes into your body. How you feel it, and when it's authentic for you. And all of the rest of this is just kind of like little lights where if you grasp it, it's like, oh yeah, that's what's going on out there in the world. I don't need to worry about that. Or I can just sit and observe it because maybe I'm going to learn something about what's going on out there that maybe when someone asks me, I can share it with them, but, or I'm just purely entertained. Yeah, Erica, feeling a lot of. I'm just going to open it up now for you guys if you want to add your thoughts, or if you haven't already given me your name to put in the box for the drawing, please do. Just write in your name or say hello in the comments, and if you have any questions about this or random things about your chart or whatever that we can address in the next minute or two, I'd be happy to do that. Okay, a lot of head pressure. Erica says, I'm feeling a lot of head pressure and it's draining me. I can totally relate. And it's probably because of the 6124. Now, the 61, I want to ask you, Erica, are you undefined in the head and ajna? Are those two centers white? Or do you have the 6124? So what I can tell you, because I have the 6447, is that with a defined head and ajna, is that the pressure never goes away when you're defined. And that's a bit of a different feeling probably from when you're undefined, because you feel the pressure as well, the head pressure. The head center is a pressure center, but it's very, very amplified and it's very, very strong, and it may go away. It may come and go. I know, Carolyn. I'm trying my best to stay out of the rabbit hole as well. So love that. Yeah. Yeah. I've got parts of Carolyn says, went down the rabbit hole. And she was in a course I created a long time ago, Bitterness to Joy for Projectors. There are parts of that in a course I have for projectors now. So if you're wondering about what that's about, it's in there. The ajna is defined, the head is undefined. Yeah. So you're going to feel that amplified mental pressure for sure. And then when the 61 goes, there's nothing else defining that in the transit chart or in your relationship charts, you're going to feel that pressure go. Yeah. Great. You're welcome, Natalia. Yeah. I love the rabbit hole. Yeah, my life practice is to not go too far down the rabbit hole and leave everybody else somewhere else. So, but I love it when we get to the point where we're all in the rabbit hole together. Oh, thank you, Natalia. Okay, are you guys ready for the drawing? So this is for a free one-to-one with me. And we can look at your human design chart. One of the new things that's emerging for me, and some of you may know this, is I've gone back and before I was into human design, I was actually trained to read the Akashic records. So I've been doing that for 12, 15 years or something for myself, for friends, for family. And I put it on the back burner when I started studying human design, because as you can tell, human design is a thing within itself. Let me get myself on here. It's a whole lifetime of study within itself. But lately, my personal guide teams, my intuition has really been pushing me to bring that out. So, you have the option if you want to get a little introduction to who you are at soul level, if you already understand your design. I am going to ask the person who wins this, that if you have never had a human design reading, we can use that. I really want to use that time to get you oriented to your chart, because your chart, your design, how you living in alignment with your design is how you make all of this other soul level stuff, these lifetimes and lifetimes of wisdom that you have, and experience that you have, how you actually ground it onto the earth plane so that you can live the fullness of it. So that's in my framework where I like to start with everybody. But if you've had a reading, if you're really familiar with your chart, you don't have any burning questions, you know, we can look at who you are at soul level and how that integrates with your chart through your soul record in the Akashic records. Okay, everybody take a deep breath. May the person who is most ready and open and can benefit the most from a one-to-one session interaction with us, with me, win, be drawn. Goodly. What was your last? Goodly words. Okay. Goodly words, please. Send me an email at sandy@sandyfreshy.com. Tell me that you won, and you won, and you were part of this live stream, and we will set up your one-to-one session with me. So thank you guys for participating. I think I'm going to do one more because this morning, as I was putting all this together, it came to me that it's time to go through and reintroduce the deconditioning blueprint, which is down in the description box. So I'm going to give a free, I'm just going to give a free a class away. And I know there's some of you who have already been through the class, so we'll figure something else out for you if I draw your name. Okay. May the person who is most ready to work with the material of the deconditioning blueprint be the one who is drawn. Okay. Susan L., email me. I'm making a note. Deconditioning blueprint. Okay. Awesome. That feels really good to me. Yeah. So, congratulations, everybody. I'm just so delighted that we are here together. And I know that this is the time of year where all these new dreams start. There's all this possibility, and patience, it's coming. This is the time where you can really lay your groundwork, as who said that we're coming into a Mercury retrograde, so you can go back and review where you've been, what you've said, what you have to offer, what you've offered in the past, what you've experienced in the past, what you've communicated in the past, and use that as we move into Mercury retrograde as a springboard for how the energy supports you as you move forward into the year. And always remember, you can trust your strategy, you can trust your authority, and you when you do that, you will be moved on to the timeline and the trajectory where everything that is waiting for you to fulfill your purpose is there. Yeah, Natalia, I've already won. Yeah, I feel like I've won too. So thank you. So let's take a few deep breaths together. And let's thank and express gratitude for the spirit of Ra-Uru-Hu and the voice whom we invoked at the beginning, for bringing through those things that will turn on lights, that are turning on lights within all of us. And let's express gratitude for the year and it's perfect unfolding um, through us as we take each step day by day, month by month, toward and into the fulfillment of our purpose and the fullness of our being. And I especially want to express gratitude for all of you who are here. This is just so amazing. I can feel your energy. Thank you for bearing with me, for pulling me out of the rabbit hole when I needed to be not quite down there as deep. So awesome. I appreciate all of you. All right. So just a reminder, the deconditioning blueprint link is down below. It's 21% off. And I don't know how long I'm going to leave that up. I'm looking at what's unfolding, and I might leave it up for a bit because with the 21% off discount, because if I get enough of you, and I didn't check to see how many that is, but if I get what feels like a critical mass of you who want to go through, who have ordered the course and you're going through it, then I will schedule some live Q&As in March. So that we can all get together and do that. And those of you who already have the deconditioning blueprint, I encourage you to, just go back through it, review it a little bit. And if things unfold the way as I'm feeling into them, the way that I feel that they may unfold, we'll probably add to it as the year goes. But I'm just sort of feeling the energy and the riding. I'm just riding through what comes and how I'm being invited out into things. So awesome. Yay, good lead. Yay. Yeah, contact me, sandy@sandyfreshy.com, and we'll set you up. Let me know where you are with your human design experiment and understanding your chart, so we know what we're going to do. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to hop off of here. It's we just hit the hour and a half mark a couple of minutes ago, so I'm going to go finish my tea and rest my throat. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and there's certainly going to be more to come. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.